Tricksters, people who trick others to get money, have sometimes joined the world of NASCAR, but one particular story is amazing. A refugee who became a stripper, then a NASCAR team owner, and finally a person on the run from the law. Angela Harkness, also known as Fatima Karamkhani, went on an incredible journey of lies and illegal activities. It's like a movie, but it really happened. Let's learn more about Angela Harkness and her life full of ups and downs, including her big NASCAR team scam and how she ran away from the police. But before we continue, remember to like and subscribe. Angela Harkness was born in 1976 as Fatima Karamkhani in Tehran, Iran. Her family had a military and government background. In 1979, after the Iranian Revolution and the government's collapse, Harkness and her family had to leave their country and go to Germany. She grew up there, having a normal childhood, or so it seemed. In 1995, when Harkness came to the United States, she started living a life of lies. First, she settled in Texas and then in California. At the age of 20, she got married to Rayford Tyler Jr. and worked as a stripper. But her main goal was to use her marriage to fraudulently become a U.S. citizen. Even though her plan didn't work, she didn't give up. Harkness's life turned very bad when she met Judge Dion Harkness, who later became her husband. Their relationship was really rocky and involved both of them physically hurting each other. They were also known for drinking a lot and Harkness using cocaine. The consequences of their troubled marriage were severe. Dion Harkness lost his job as a judge and his lawyer license. In February 2001, after another fight, Dion sadly took his own life, leaving Angela feeling devastated. After these tragic events, Harkness moved to Texas, where she met Gary Jones again, this time at a strip club. Harkness and Jones became close and started doing illegal things together, especially stealing money. Jones borrowed large amounts of money from his sisters, like $138,000 and $295,000. They used this money to support Harkness's fancy lifestyle, which included buying a nice house in suburban Austin and a new Mercedes car. At the same time, Harkness pretended to be different people, like a teacher, a trophy girl, and a motocross champion. Harkness and Jones had dreams of owning a NASCAR team because they thought it would bring them a lot of money from sponsors. Jones got a loan of $320,000 in his business partner's name to fund their big plan, and Harkness took $250,000 from a woman she claimed was her mother, although there was no proof of that. Between 2000 and 2003, they collected an astonishing $1.3 million through dishonest loans and stealing to finance their team. With the money ready, Angela's Motorsports was created on October 25, 2002. They bought engines from Robert Yates and got all the equipment they needed for 2 Ford Tauruses. The only thing left was to find a full-time driver. Luckily, during the free agency market in 2002 to 2003, they were able to sign Mike McLaughlin, who had won the Busch Series 6 times. He wanted a chance to do better after finishing 4th in the points, which was his best performance since 1995. It looked like Angela's Motorsports had a good chance of succeeding as a new team in NASCAR. The team had their first race at Homestead in 2002, called the Ford 300, which was the final race of the Busch Series. Jay Sutter drove their number 02 Ford, starting from the 31st position and finishing an impressive 25th out of 43 drivers. Kevin LePage finished 37th in their second car. It was a good start for the team and made up for missing the previous race in Phoenix. As they entered 2003, the team showed promise during testing for the Busch Series. Their cars were consistently the fastest at Daytona. It seemed like 2003 could be a breakthrough year for Angela's Motorsports with a bright future ahead. Unfortunately, the team soon faced overwhelming financial difficulties. They couldn't keep up with the financial demands, resulting in bounced checks and growing debts. To make things worse, Gary Jones was fired from Wells Fargo in January, worsening their financial situation. As their dishonesty started to come to light, Angela threatened sponsors like Wired Flyer, demanding payment or else facing legal consequences. The consequences of their actions had a big impact on the NASCAR community during its peak time. Robert Yates Racing took back the team's engines because Angela's check for the engines didn't go through. On January 28, 2003, Angela's Motorsports officially closed down, leaving all 17 team members without a job. Mike McLaughlin, who had hoped for a fresh start, now needed to find a new team. Many others, including sponsors and team employees, suffered financial losses because of the theft and fraud committed by Harkness and Jones. Considering the huge failure of their con job, one might expect Harkness and Jones to take responsibility for what they did. However, they chose to run away instead, showing their cowardly nature. Jones went into hiding within the United States, but was eventually caught by the FBI at a sports club he owned. He faced charges of theft, fraud, and embezzlement from Wells Fargo. Harkness ran away from the country and first went to Mexico for safety. Later, she found a place to stay in the United Arab Emirates. She stayed there until she was arrested in Dubai in 2005. Her Iranian passport was taken away from her and canceled. In 2007, she was sent back to the United States to face charges for her crimes. As soon as she arrived in New York City, Harkness was arrested again. She was eventually put on trial in Texas and given a sentence of 3.5 years in federal prison. One might think that this experience would make her start a new life and change for the better. However, she was arrested again in 2012 and 2018, and she was accused of abusing her family members. This shows that she was still deeply involved in a life of crime and turmoil. Today, Angela Harkness is not an important person anymore. Her actions and where she is now are mostly unknown and unimportant. However, her story is like a plan for an interesting movie, similar to movies like Shattered Glass. The story of Angela Harkness is both fascinating and confusing, leaving us with questions and a desire to learn more about her amazing journey. Angela Harkness's life is an incredible story of lies and crimes. It started when she was a refugee in Iran and went on to involve stripping, fake marriages, and stealing money. Her story is captivating because it is audacious and unpredictable. When she tried to cheat her way into owning a NASCAR team, it added even more excitement to the already amazing story. While Harkness's actions are disgusting, it's important to understand the significance of her story. It serves as a warning, showing the dangers of deceit and the consequences that come when greed and crime take over. It also shows how vulnerable the NASCAR industry can be and how tempting it is to get involved in fraud when big sponsorships are worth millions of dollars. Despite causing chaos and disrupting lives, Harkness's story is not well known, which is surprising considering how shocking her crimes were. This makes us wonder why the media and public are more interested in stories about fame and success. Harkness's story also teaches us about the complexity of human nature. It shows how circumstances, personal choices, and outside influences can shape someone's life and lead them in a path of crime and lies. By looking at her life, we can understand better why people do such things and how they affect the lives of those involved. The remarkable life of Angela Harkness, from her escape from Iran to becoming a stripper, owning a NASCAR team, and eventually becoming a fugitive, goes against what we would expect. Her story is a warning, showing how tempting it can be to chase money and the terrible consequences of lying. Even though her actions are terrible, they help us understand the complicated ways people behave. Angela Harkness's incredible journey is a captivating but also a sobering reminder of how ambition can have a dark side, leading to either redemption or more downfall. What do you think makes Angela Harkness's story so captivating? Don't forget to like this discussion and subscribe for more intriguing content.